How we doing? Welcome to another episode of Meatheads on the Couch. I'm here with a very intelligent man. This is Jason. Jason, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
How's it going, everybody? My name's Jason. I've been in the fitness industry for about 10 years now. I was a personal trainer for about 8 years. I've worked in the strength and conditioning setting for a little while. I have a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, also a certified strength and conditioning specialist. Worked with all types of clients for different reasons and stuff like that. Seen a lot of things, you know, and also had a lot of experiences myself as an athlete, and hopefully...
Now, you guys did hear him say he didn't get a weekend course. He's got a degree. Keep going, brother.
Yeah, so, I mean, lots of experiences, you know, and seeing that stuff firsthand. And I feel like that kind of experience has a lot of insight into what it takes to prepare yourself for, you know, competitions.
Now, you also compete in the strength shows, right? The Highland Games, you pick up the rocks. He does all that thing. So what are some of the things that you go through? Like, how does your body different? Like bodybuilders, we know that we need amino acids and blah, 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 blah. How do you guys go about preparing for your events?
Well, it's interesting. Well, first of all, I gotta say, like, for me, I have to really be careful because I have to stay within a certain weight class. You know, like I compete in a certain weight class, and so when I train, I try to make sure that what I do is very specific, so I don't get like non-discriminate gains in, like, say, muscle. And I try to make it really count of what I'm doing. So
you're not like the typical power lifter. You'll sit down. Me, super heavyweight. You know, I eat a ton of pizza, carbs, great strength. So you have to really watch what you're doing. You can't just go carb load and go, all right, I've got that energy to pick the rock up. You gotta watch what you're doing. What are some of the things you do?
Well, you know, most of the time I don't have to watch as much. Usually, you know, I try to taper going into a competition. Like, I don't know, you know, usually 2 weeks out from a competition, I'll see where I'm at with my weight. You know, I try to stay within 5 to 10 pounds typically of what I compete at, so I can adjust myself accordingly. That way I'm not making last minute adaptations to my weight, so you know, I don't have that decrease in performance.
Now, your type of training, you're not in the gym, you're not quote unquote picking up dead iron. You've got to physically figure a way to manipulate weight to get it up. I don't know if you guys ever watch strongman competitions. It's 250 pounds on the ground is not the 250 pounds that you go in the gym, wrap your hands around, pull it up, and you're like, oh, it's no big deal. A 250-pound stone is not moving if you don't know what you're doing. So what are some of the things that you guys do in prep?
You know what? First of all, it helps a lot to have that raw strength, you know, utilizing those techniques of powerlifting and strength training, even, you know, weightlifting. All that stuff helps in preparation. But really, you just gotta really get your hands on the implements. Like Steve said, you know, when you're lifting stones, or let's say logs or something like that, you really have to train with the movement and the actual implements to really get a feel for what it is, you know. Now,
when you do these competitions, I know when I go to these strongman events, you run into these guys named Sven and Magnuson, and they're like 7'9" and 800 pounds. You're like, oh, that's a big guy. How does that feel when you're on the line and you look up and you see this giant running around with a car in his hands?
It's inspiring, man. You know, I try not to let that kind of get to my mind. You know, first of all, I know I'm not in his same class. You know, I accept that. You know, I'm a smaller guy, so I have to compete against the people in my class, and that's kind of my focus. I try to stay focused on what I have to do. You know, but if anything, it's all mindset. It's inspiring to see something get to that level. You know, somebody to achieve that. Yeah, because, you know, if somebody else can do it, you can definitely get to that level. It's been done before, it can be done again.
Now, I know that some of the things that the competitors, competitive bodybuilders, competitive powerlifters do, they're into muscle manipulation. They go and they get deep tissue massages and things like that. From your experience, how do those things work?
Actually, that's one thing I really wanted to bring up today, is the things that you could do for recovery and preparation for competition actually makes a huge difference, you know, especially going in and tapering for an event. As far as recovery techniques go, you know, I went to a coaches conference in Kentucky last month, and you know, I had a great coach from Kentucky actually talked about you know, his athletes, they train at a higher level, but the way they're able to support that is they spend a lot of time in recovery, you know, and recovery could mean things like, you know, the basics, you know, making sure they get enough sleep, staying hydrated, you know, taking their supplementation, you know, and for them it may just be, hey, let's take 20 grams of protein pre and post. It could be something like that. Definitely deep tissue massage, any kind of anything to manipulate blood flow so that they can flush toxins and also get nutrients back to the body. You know, that could be alternating heat and ice. That's actually a big technique with, say, sports teams. Like I was working with the Condors last year. One of the things that they would do immediately after...
Just so you guys know, he is a certified strength coach. So when this man is talking, don't just think, you know, he went somewhere in a weekend and learned a course. This man has studied, and he works with major teams. Like you said, you heard him say the Condors. The man has worked with Division I colleges, so he knows what he's talking. Didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Just want people to understand.
No, for sure. Yeah, like you see these guys at this next level of athletics, and you see what they do day in, day out. And one of the things, like I was hitting on, was the alternating heat and ice. But they do that to you know, flush you know, blood from one tissue to another. Like especially if you have, let's say you're training heavy on the legs, or like for example the hockey team, they're so focused on the hips and the lower body and the back that, you know, they only dunk the lower half of their body in the ice bath and then get back into the you know, hot tub.
And if you guys aren't familiar with the ice bath, that's that Peyton Manning commercial where he's singing the insurance commercial, you know, the little jingle, sitting in the tub. Yeah, those things will wake you up.
Yeah, it definitely wakes you up. I'm not a fan of it myself, you know, but I will utilize any modality I can to have that extra edge in preparation for an event. You know, it could be things too. It could be like ibuprofen. It could be, you know, anything like that. Anything that would give you that extra edge.
Now talking about, a lot of people aren't familiar. You know, when we work out, we create a lot of lactic acid buildup. We call small muscle tears. They're DOMs. And basically, that's that pain. You know, you see the memes on the Instagram, I did legs, and then they show a picture of a crippled elephant walking, and it's horrible. What he's talking about is repair. So tell us a little bit more on how to really manipulate repair, be it nutrition, be it through food. I mean, one of the things that people sleep the most on, in my opinion, is water and rest. I mean, water's free. What do you think?
You know, yeah, water and rest are definitely the cornerstones of recovery and preparation. As far as other methods, you know, like I said, you can go with, you know, like a simple pre and a post with a protein shake. That's a good way to do it. With DOMs, you really gotta, basically DOMs is that muscle soreness post exercise, but you gotta make sure that you understand it, because if it's dull ache and you're like sore a little bit and you recover within a few days, that's okay, that's good. That's your body adapting and making sure that it's ready to take that same kind of stress the next time. Make sure you handle it better. It's making you stronger. You got to make sure that it's not something like a very sharp acute pain. Like that's very different. Like you got to really know and listen to your body. That's another thing too. Like going into preparation for something, you really got to just focus and listen to what your body's doing. Like I know going into a competition, you know, if I feel like my legs are heavy, or if I feel like I don't have, you know, strength and power to really lift, like do a heavy lift the week of a competition, I'll just, you know, work on speed, you know, something that still benefits me, but I'm really paying attention to how I feel, you know, because quality training is what it's all about. You know, again, you don't want to just go in without a plan. You want to have some kind of plan in place.
The one thing I think a lot of people fail to realize in this lifestyle, be it whatever your athletic endeavor might be, is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You want to make sure that you're not beating your body so bad that you're not able to continue to do the thing that you love.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so easy to get so excited about progress made, you know, and to be doing something, you know, that you've never done before. Like it's really easy to get caught up in that. You know, I've done it before. I'm sure everybody's done it. But yeah, it's very easy to get into a spot where you know, make a mistake potentially, and you can have setbacks, you know, and that stuff happens, you know. But again, don't let it discourage you. You know, get out there, be active, you know, train. Again, try to have a plan, something in place, and really just utilize all those things that you can do to maximize the plan that you may be following.
Now, let's have a little fun with this. What made you decide to do strength? I mean, how did you feel when you did your first competition? I know how competition and what was that feeling like? Like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to go over here and I'm going to do something that is beyond the normal, beyond what you see. I'm going to do something that is just Supermanish, for lack of a better word.
It's kind of funny because I had done physique competition before, and that was fun. And actually, I would say that was probably one of my most difficult roads that I was on. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. It's a very lonely road, and it's fun, and it's like not a lot of people do it. So it's like an experience, and you're in that category. I've done that. But with like the strength and the power events, whether it be strongman, whether it be the Highland Games stuff, or anything like that, it's just, you just see these guys at that high level, and you just see the feats of strength that they do, and it's just like mind-boggling. It could be anything, whether it be lifting a stone or throwing a beer keg, or hucking, what looks like a telephone pole. That stuff's just like, wow, that's like larger than life stuff, and it's exciting to see. And the cool thing is, every time I've been to a place like that, everybody's cool, everybody's trying to help each other out. There's no like animosity towards each other. It just, everybody feels like a giant family. And that really is what drew me to that kind of stuff.
Now, we're going to go back to some of the stuff you were talking about. When you were talking about nutrition and DOMs and recovery, this isn't just concerning. And remember, this man is he's a sports specialist. That's what he does. He repairs athletes. That's what he does. So whatever your athletic endeavor, I mean, be it Spartan races that are so popular nowadays, marathons, the CrossFit, spin class, whatever it is that you're doing, the things that he was talking about is really going to be beneficial for you. Let's bring in some things like a lot of people don't realize. Something simple, they walk into the store and the guy behind the counter and they shove them like $1,200 worth of stuff and they walk out and they're not sure what they should have. Like I said, water, sleep are essentials. I'm a big fan of amino acids. Tell us a little bit how those really work to benefit your body.
For me personally, I'm a fan of keeping it simple. I try to eat real clean. First of all, you gotta have a real clean diet. And then supplements will definitely take you to that next level. Especially if you're at that next level in competition, you can use whatever edge you have to try to make sure you recover faster and you can perform at your best. I'm a fan of multi-purpose protein. Like I've done a lot of times where I've had a whey isolate or a casein protein for the evening and stuff like that. But for me, I like to do like a multi-purpose so that I'm hitting all those bases. I definitely go with the aminos when I'm in heavy training, to help again with that recovery and getting those aminos back to the muscle so that it repairs itself. Typically, I like to take definitely a multivitamin supplement. I'm a fan of Animal Pack. Yes. Actually, I know you have that stuff. That's great.
Basically, for you guys to understand, the packs. When you're in this lifestyle, you're doing so much, and you're requiring your body to do so much. That little one a day, not working.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up too, because those one-a-days, they contain, like the water-soluble vitamins. I say the B vitamin complex. That's good if you're not active, but if you're an active person, you just be sweating all that out. So that's why when you see like the back of an Animal Pack or whatever, all those sport vitamins, they actually have like a lot more of the like maybe 300% daily value, because that 100% daily value is for a sedentary person. Yes. You got to accept that you're training at that higher level and you need that extra because you may be just sweating it out.
Yes. All right. So once again, it's another episode of Meatheads on the Couch. I was very honored to be with somebody with this much intelligence. I'm hoping he comes back and sits down and really just helps us. That's the whole purpose of Meatheads on the Couch. I want to make sure everybody gets going. Thank you guys very much. JC, you want to say anything important?
Yeah, thank you guys. Love this stuff. I love sharing this information. It's a journey for everybody, and if you find somebody in your life that can help guide you, like I know we've worked together for a long time, that's what it's all about, helping each other out.
All right. Thank you guys.
Hell yeah, dude.